Hello, everyone. I'm Sade. I'm the founder of Angelic Fashion House. It's a fashion digital marketing creative agency I started for the music and fashion industry. I'm so excited to be doing this first ever Fangirl and music industry event that I'm hosting. And I'm so excited for all the panelists that you guys are about to be meeting. And you guys can ask any question, hear their stories, what they do, and just engage and fangirl it's each other. So let's get started. So our panelists, you guys can feel free and introduce yourself and what you do.
Okay, well, I'm Janine, and I am the founder of Sorority Records, which is a metaverse music and media company. I'm also a Grammy-nominated songwriter, and I've been in the music business for, I believe, at least 18 years now.
Hi, I'll go next. My name is Sally. I'm actually a member of the business and legal affairs team. I'm a paralegal.
I think your audio is cutting off.
My name is Acela Palacios. I am a paralegal at Universal Music Group. I work in the business and legal affairs department. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. This is my first time doing an event like this and, trying to branch out of my own little bubble of my network. So hi, everyone.
Hi, my name is Bailey Avery. I am a music journalist for Bandit PR, and I've been working in this field for about 2 years, and I am passionate about the whole fangirl to music industry pipeline. So I'm really excited to be here and to be speaking.
I'm Chloe. I live in Las Vegas. I own and run a business management firm for musicians. I've been in music for about 15 years, like about 12 years now. I own a recording studio out here in Vegas as well. I started there, but now I'm pretty much full on into the business management as my firm's grown. So I do like business management for musicians, music business companies, like labels, management companies. I also have a couple influencers, anything in like the entertainment realm, we'll say. And I'm excited to be here. It's nice to meet everybody.
Okay, I am Emily. I'm 24 and from England. I'm a music photographer, journalist, and the editor of Square One magazine. I've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years now. So yeah, I'm really excited to get to meet some new people and talk you guys through fangirling.
All right, I will go ahead and go. Hi, everyone. My name is Neka Mogbo. Really excited to be here, based in the US, specifically South Carolina. So it's a very big and bustling state. Um, Cue sarcasm. But anyways, I recently founded a talent management agency that focuses on creators who are women, specifically women who create music, as well as a few content creators. Again, really excited to be here and looking forward to the conversation.
Hi, my name is Faith Pierce. I'm originally from Mississippi, but I'm based in Louisiana right now. I'm the morning show producer for a nationally syndicated morning radio show for iHeartRadio. I've been in this role for 1 year now, and we have 64 affiliates across the country, including Hawaii. So I manage and produce their show nationwide and overseas. Excited to get to talk to y'all.
Hi all, my name is Julie Russell. I am a day-to-day manager to a couple influencers out in Los Angeles. I am also the founder of the events company Fangirl Fantasy.
I think that was everyone. I'm so excited to get started. And if you guys see me looking at my phone. It's just to make sure we're on track. But I'm excited to engage with everyone and all the fangirls who want to learn more about the music industry, how they can get into. So I wanted to start talking about you guys, like, what do you guys think fangirls can do to push their way into the music industry?
If I can go first. So yeah, we're obviously all fangirls here, but I actually specifically came from like a K-pop fan standpoint. And in high school, you know, this is now back in like 2007, 8, 9. I, you know, took advantage of spaces like Twitter and LiveJournal to connect with fans of K-pop around the world. And sometimes, unfortunately, that wasn't always for positive reasons. There were a lot of like legal issues happening in K-pop kind of simultaneously during that time. But, you know, with the translations and conversations that, you know, the fans in those spaces had with each other at that time, we actually were exposed really early on in this casual setting to legal documents, contracts, you know, negotiation, court results, court documents. And that actually, you know, coming from, you know, first gen immigrant, and, you know, my parents were always like, oh, go be a lawyer for the community. But this actually made me interested in law in a completely different context. It was now, you know, entertainment law is, you know, a field. It's a thing that people do. The legal elements of the entertainment industry, and that kind of, you know, informed some plans moving on as I went to college and such. So I would actually just say simply engaging in your own communities and fandom spaces can actually be one of the most crucial sources of knowledge you can glean. You know, I don't know people personally, but you see it all the time. I'm sure even here, you know, you start in, you know, marketing, social media context, and you learn so much from just being in the know, on the ground, doing the work, learning from your peers. I think that's certainly, you know, a good foundational basis to have.
I would like to piggyback off of what Estella is saying. I grew up in a small town in Mississippi, and I did not have the luxury of proximity, being in close to where all of these opportunities were. So I was a student, and so that's where I learned everything to be able to come into the music slash entertainment industry. I learned in college. So I really got plugged in to my community. I used all the resources available to me. My campus had a radio station. About an hour and a half away from me, there was an event space and a recording studio. So I would drive there an hour and a half on the weekends, an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back, just to volunteer my time to learn, because there you're showing people your work ethic, you're showing people your skills, you're making those connections. You never know who you're going to run into, who you're going to meet. And I know that not everybody has, you know, may have the resources to be able to accept low paying or free jobs, but if you can, I highly recommend volunteering. That was my foot in the door. Like I said, because I just didn't have the luxury of proximity. So, you know, nobody came up to me and asked me, you know, oh, Faith, I think you would be good for this role. Like, it wasn't like that at all. Like, you have to constantly put yourself out there and network with other people. So the fact that you're on this call right now is, you know, pat yourself on the back, kudos to you, because that's exactly what I was doing a year ago. I was hopping on Q&A calls on LinkedIn, hitting up people, asking them. I asked people who had the jobs that I wanted, you know, can I get on a Zoom call with you? What was your education, your skills and experience like? I'm a beginner. I just want to learn. If you come from a place of um, if you come from a place of wanting to learn from others, I mean, there's tons of people out there willing to help you out. You just need to put yourself out there and keep going.
Well, what I would tell people is you would need to participate in your performance rights organization's events. If you're in the music industry and you're not registered with BMI, ASCAP, or CSAC, you are missing a stream of income and opportunities to rub elbows with people who are actually earning money in the music business. I definitely believe putting yourself out there is wonderful. Getting around other people is wonderful. You just have to remember that the music industry is very small, and there is a select group and a select number of people that can actually get you money. There's a music industry and there's music business. Anybody can be in the music business. If you want to be in the music industry and you want to get paid, you have to figure out how to network with the people who are already working in the music industry. So I encourage you to join BMI, CSAC, or ASCAP if you haven't yet. And when they have a writer's event or a writer's block or whatever they're calling it these days, show up, because that is your opportunity to learn the system, learn the players in the system, learn the players in your city or the nearest city that has a BMI, ASCAP, or CSAC office, and get involved.
I think in regards to being a fan and using being a fan into the music and entertainment industry is everything you have as a tool is something you can put on your resume. If you are a fan and you run an updates account for Twitter or Instagram, like you're a social media manager, you know the back end of social. If you are creating graphics or you're creating videos or fan edits, you now know how to do video editing, or you're making fun TikToks, you're doing video editing, that's on social. I think anything that you're doing as a fan on social, like that's on your resume. You're now, you know how to run things for digital. You could join a digital team. If you are taking photos and, you know, like you're just volunteering to shoot photos you can now do photojournalist. I think everything you just need to realize that as a fan that you're doing is a job, and you're just doing it for fun because you enjoy it, and you can take that and put it into a career path. So you just need to realize all your tools that you're using now as a fan, you can turn that into a career.
Yeah, I want to add on to that. Definitely everything you do as a fan can influence the job that you want to do. I started out as a stan on Twitter and Tumblr and all that. To this day, I still am a part of an update account on Twitter just because I love it. But it's what got me my foot in the door with, as I said, I put all of it on my CV, and it helped me get those first jobs to get into the role that I am in now. I started out doing photography at my local venues just because it was something I enjoyed doing, not thinking I was going to be any good at it. And I'm still doing it 5 years later. So it's definitely a thing of who you know as well. It's a very big thing in this industry. Everywhere you go, there's always going to be someone that you might need further down the line, and they might need you as well. So always make connections, talk to people that you find, and yeah, don't stop being a fan.
I want to add more to what Emily and Julie were saying just now, because when Emily saying that she used to run a stan account on Twitter, I did the exact same thing. I ran a One Direction fan account on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr, not all throughout high school, and I'd say that really shaped me into who I am in the music industry now. And I don't know, if there's a fan out there who is running a fan account right now, they are not, like was said before, they're already learning about how to do these different kinds of things in the industry. But if you're a fangirl who now is realizing that they want to work in the industry, they got to find these different connections and see who they can connect with, basically. Because when I first started out as a writer, I was a pop culture writer, and I had very little friends who worked in the industry. And when I lost my pop culture writing job, my current boss at Bandit PR was actually the one who helped me try and find these gigs. And then a couple days later, I started working for her. So it's those little connections right there that can really just help you with who you want to be in the music business.
Most definitely. I feel like for me, I definitely started in my teenage years with starting off as a stan. Probably was in so many fan bases. I just had one main account that I used to have on Twitter, and used to just tweet about anything that involved all my favorite celebrities. And the fangirl world is actually who I met all my best friends now, and we've been friends since we were teenagers. And now we're in our 20s, still friends. And it kind of opened up the doors for me for like different ambassadorships, different internships. One of my first ambassadorships that was big was a Galore Girl. I got to work with Galore magazine. They invited us to so many amazing events. One of the events had 5 Seconds of Summer was there. So it was like a great thing to get my foot into the door and now branch out and open my own creative agency. So I didn't feel like all the things that you're doing as a fangirl, make sure you are tying it and adding it to your resume, because it is a job that you're basically doing and you could turn it into a career. So I'm gonna take like the audience. If you guys have any questions, feel free to raise your hand and ask the questions. Or you could drop it in the chat.
I just want to go back a little bit to the point, and also feel free to interrupt me if anyone has. Oh, wait, I think there's a question from Uma, but I just wanted to also bring up, you may not necessarily be a fangirl of like a particular artist or band. In the case for me, I was a fangirl of a genre or a part of like a musical culture. So for background, like I enjoyed listening to music that was like French speaking, Arabic, and that's kind of like where my university studies followed, and just kind of following the music that was being created in those languages as well as those countries. And so you may not be like a fangirl for like a particular band or artist, but maybe there's like a genre or musical culture that speaks to you, and you keep your hand on the pulse of that. And that could like lead you down the path of becoming a writer about said music culture or sect of like the music industry or business. So just throwing that out, and I'll turn it back because there's questions.
I'm gonna unmute you guys so you guys can ask your questions. Uma, you can ask your question.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, firstly, thank you for hosting this panel. It's been really helpful and informative and inspiring. My question is, so I do run some like update accounts for bands, and they've been fairly successful. And I feel like I've gotten a lot of experience of how to run social media through them. But my question is like, what would you recommend, or how would you go about first gaining those industry connections, like going from like where I'm at right now to gaining connections in the industry?
Is this for anybody? Can anyone answer
yes,
this?
anybody
Can I
can.
answer this? Okay. I mean, I'm sure everyone would agree, and pipe in to interrupt me if you want, but making the connections like I can't remember your first name, Jay Smith mentioned, of just like the networking. It is really important to network. And I find I didn't do the networking till later on in my career, which was unfortunate. I wish I would have done it sooner, but things like this is a great opportunity when we're all here and we can all connect. All the panelist type stuff, webinars. If you can go to some of the music conferences, those are really great networking events. I know like Nashville just had one last week. That was awesome. South by Southwest is okay. Just anywhere you can go to just meet some of the people that may be able to help you in your path. And that could be anybody. And then with that said, I always say, be nice to everybody, no matter how established they are or upcoming they are. You never know when you need to tap into those resources. And whether you think you're a little further along than someone else, like treat everybody with respect as you go through your path. Because I go to so many of those things where people who are executive level or business owners, and they just talk down to people who are below them, will say, or upcoming. And you never know when that person's going to be right there with you. And they're like, oh, I remember you. You were really rude to me at that thing. You know, always be nice to everyone. And that really helps make those connections. Because when you see them again, you're like, oh, I remember you. Like, it was so fun when we met on that Zoom call thing. And, you know, I think just like networking and really being a human with someone is the most important to help establish yourself and move forward, and then following up. So like sending a note, it was so nice meeting you at that thing. I think that's really important. I learned that kind of late. Not that I was ever rude to anyone, but I didn't value the networking as much until the last couple of years. And there is a lot of value there in advancing your career and moving forward in the music industry.
To give you some specific advice, if you're looking to get into social media management as a thing, reaching out to small publications like my own, they're always looking for people to help out with their writing or even social media management, which is what I'm actually looking for right now. But yeah, reaching out to smaller publications is always a great way to get your foot in the door, because once you've done it once, you've got that on your CV, you can take that to further places and bigger places with you. So yeah, if that's something you're looking to do, drop me a message.
In regards to specifically what you were speaking on running updates account for certain bands, I don't know the size or who the bands are, but making a presentation on like what you've updated on. Is it an album release? Are you helping with like promoting their tour or whatever specifically is you're promoting on social media and kind of doing a social media campaign for? I would make that into a deck and, you know, as professional as you can, and reach out to those teams and letting them know that, like I said, don't know how big the band is, but you know, hey, next time you guys have a launch of an album or you have this, like I can be an extra resource on the marketing campaign and help out with that. Or if they're touring, make sure you're going to these shows and meeting the teams if it is like a smaller band, and introducing yourself. And you know, are you updating their, you know, giving like behind the scenes on their shows and being like an update account for that. So I think just kind of whatever you're looking for with the bands as well, like utilizing that and making sure you have everything that you need to present it to someone if you're in that opportunity.
If I can add on to what Julie just said about.
I'm gonna pause it real quick. The time, we have 2 minutes left. I've totally forgot Zoom times you, but I put the meeting code and password for when it runs out for us to join like the another sessions for everyone to just join. It's in the chat. Sorry about that, guys. But once the time run out, you guys can join the new session so we could like finish up. So everybody can ask their questions. You can finish what you're saying.
Sorry, just copy pasting the code. But I actually, something that I've seen enough, just in the K-pop space to actually network with other, not really network, but you know, K-pop spaces tend to give a lot of freebies to other fans just out of goodwill, benevolence, wanting to make people happy. But a lot of people who run larger accounts for whatever reason, whether it's fashion, merch, styling, fan-made merch, they often give out little photo cards, which are very common in the K-pop space, with their own information on it. I feel like that's a very fun and on-topic way to kind of, you know, swerve like the business card idea, which isn't really a thing outside of what I feel is like actual industry spaces. Like people, for some reason, still really like looking at business cards. So that might be a consideration, you know, just something to make you a little more memorable and stand out, especially like Julie was saying, if you're going to be in these spaces and trying to network with actual artists or bands team specifically, might be, you know, something to consider. I don't know, just a thought, because I'm not really in those marketing spaces. I'm very much behind the scenes corporate. So, you know, maybe that's just a thought that won't go anywhere, but maybe it will.
Okay, I'm going to start the recorded session since it's in less than a minute. Exit out, and then we can exit back into the new session, and then you guys can ask your questions.